Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be solving Cambridge IGCSE Information and Communication Technology Paper 3 for May-June 2024, Variant 3.2. You have been supplied with the following source files. I have copied the source files in my working area. Task 1, Evidence Document. Create a new word process document. Make sure your name, center number, candidate number will appear on every page. And we need to save this. So we are going to prepare the evidence document for this paper. I have opened a Word document for the evidence. Go to Insert, Header. You can give your name, center number, and candidate number so that it appears on every page. Next, we need to save this. So, save as. In your folder, J32 evidence followed by your center number and candidate number. We are going to do task 2 spreadsheet. Open and examine the file J32 giraffe.csv. This file will be used in steps 2 and 3. Do not make any changes. Open sightings.csv and save the file as a spreadsheet with the file name giraffe followed by your center number and candidate number. So these are the files. So let's save this file inside your folder. The name is giraffe followed by your center number and candidate number, and make sure it is Excel workbook. Rows 7 to 25 will show the number of sightings of the giraffes for 1 week in February. Row 28 onwards shows the details of all sightings. Place your name, center number, and candidate number center aligned in the header. So go to Insert, Header and Footer. You need to give your name, center number, and candidate number in the header. Place the text created on, followed by a space, the automated date, then again a space, then the text at, followed by a space, then the automated time in the footer. So scroll down to the footer. You have to give created on, then a space, automated date. So go to header and footer, current date, then space, at, then space, current time, so that it will appear this way. Now you can come back to the normal view, normal. Make sure all the data are visible properly. Place a replicable formula in cell D28 to look up the species using the code and external file giraffe.csv for the array. In cell D28, we have to look up the species using the code. So this will be the lookup value, and the table array is given here. So this will be the table array. So let's insert a VLOOKUP function here, equal to VLOOKUP. You can click on this FX so that you get the function wizard. The lookup value. So we are going to look up the species for this particular code in cell B28. So B28 will be the lookup value. The table array is the giraffe table. Now we are looking up the name of the species. So species is in the third column. Here you can see in this table, it is in the third column. So the column index number should be 3 and range lookup will be 0. Give OK. So you get the species here. You can replicate the formula. In cell F28, look up the status using the code and external file. So you can see status is shown in this column. So similarly, we have to use another function in status. We look up. So the lookup value will be again based on the code. So the lookup value is code. It's a similar function, only the column index will change. The table array is the giraffe table, and the status is in the 6th column. So the column index will be 6 here and 0. Give OK. Replicate this. So replicate the formula. So we have done step 2 and 3. This is the formula for step 2. And this is the formula for step 3. Place in cell B3 a formula to count the total number of sightings for this 7-day period. In cell B3. So this is the cell. We have to find the total number of sightings. So we can use the count formula here. Any column can be used for counting. So equal to count A. Count A stands for count all, which is used to count any other value other than numeric value. So here most of the columns are text values or date values. So we have to use count A. So I'm using this column, the first column, to count all the sightings. So we got the total count. This is the formula. Place in cell B4 a formula to count the total number of sightings for this 7-day period where a photograph of a critically endangered species was taken. So if you look at the data, we have status here. So in this it is written whether it is critically endangered will be shown in this column, and the photographic evidence is shown here. So we need to count all the sightings where the status is critically endangered and the photographic evidence is yes. So there are two conditions while counting. So here we'll be using count ifs function. So equal to count ifs. Count ifs will give you first criteria range 1. So the first range and the condition should be given. So the first range is the status column. So select status column. And the criteria is the text critically endangered. Make sure the spelling is correct. Next criteria range is the photograph column. So we need to make sure the photographic evidence is yes. So the next criteria range is this column. And criteria will be yes. So we got the total number here. Insert a new row between rows 5 and 6. Place in cell A6 the text critically endangered. So between row 5 and 6, you have to insert a column. So insert. Now in A6, we have to place the text critically endangered. Place the replicable formula in cell B8 to display the number of sightings of a critically endangered species in this country. So similar formula we have to use like we did before, but now we have to count for each particular country here. So here you can see the country is given here and the status is given critically endangered. So for each country, how many endangered species are there, we have to find. So equal to, again count ifs. The criteria range is first the country. This is the country. Now here we are going to replicate this formula. So the criteria range has to be fixed or constant. So we have to use an absolute cell referencing here. So to make this range absolute, we have to add the dollar sign between the references. So let's add the dollar sign here. So I have added dollar sign so that the range is absolute. And the criteria is we are finding the number of sightings for this particular country. This is the criteria for this one. So I will use A8 as the criteria. So when you replicate, it will become A9 for the next country and so on. So we need number of sightings for each country of a critically endangered species. So next criteria range is the status column here. Select the status column. And same way, this range must be absolute since we are going to replicate the formula. So make it absolute by adding the dollar sign. Now the criteria is the text critically endangered. So this is the text. Now let's give OK and replicate it. So this is the formula for finding the critically endangered species in each country. So the first range is to find the particular country. So the country column will be the range and the criteria is the country. Next one is the range for the status and the text is critically endangered. Format the top of your spreadsheet so that it looks like this. You can see in row 1, A and B are merged and the text is wrapped. A and B should be merged. So on home, merge and center. Also give text wrap here. Here critically endangered, the text is merged over these two columns in row 6. Let's do that. Merge. Now all these text are the text in A3 and A4 are wrapped. So we need to add wrap text for these two. Wrap text here. Now reduce the width of the column. And increase the height of the rows so that all the text is properly seen. So here you can see number of sightings in 7-day period is on the next line. and this is right aligned. Make it right aligned. Here, number of critically endangered sightings. So we have to make sure the text is shown this way. Now set the font size of text in row 1 and 6 to be 20 points. 1 and 6 should be 20 points, and it's bold. Now here, these headings are bold and number of sightings is wrapped. So number of sightings, you have to make these bold, and number of sightings should be wrapped. And it is center aligned. And all the country names are right aligned. Row 2 is partially visible and row 5 is partially visible. So the formatting is done. Print your spreadsheet showing the formulae. Make sure that it is in landscape orientation. So in order to print this, first we have to show the formula. So go to formulas, click on show formula here. You can see this one. Otherwise it will be written as show formulas here. Now make sure all the formula are completely visible. Now we have to print the formula in landscape orientation with row and column headings displayed and all formulae fully visible. So formula are already fully visible. Now let's go to the print preview, file, print option. Make sure the orientation is landscape, and then go to page setup. On sheet, you have to make sure the row and column headings are visible. Give OK. So this is the required printout. Next, select rows 1 to 7 inclusive and only the rows between 8 and 26 where a sighting took place. Take a screenshot of the method used to select these rows. Place this screenshot in your evidence document. In order to do this, let's first hide the formula which we had shown for printing. We have to select rows 1 to 7 and only the rows between 8 and 26 where a sighting took place. So we need the rows from 1 to 7 and in rows 8 to 26 where sighting took place. That means the number of sightings must not be 0. So let's filter that. Go to data, filter. Make sure you select the data and then click on filter. Select these two columns, then click on filter. So here you can see the filter button will be there. Go to number filters, give does not equal to 0. We need a screenshot of this. Let's paste that in the evidence document, step 11 evidence. So this is the method by which we have shown that sightings did not take place. Now give OK. So we got only this. Now select from rows 1 to the rows where sightings took place. Now we have to print this showing the values. Make sure the printout fits on a single page. Portrait orientation, row and column headings are displayed and all the contents are fully visible. So go to File, Print. Make sure it is portrait and give the print settings to selection, print selection only. And row and column headings are already visible here. And now it fits on one page. So this is the required printout. So this is the end of the spreadsheet task. Next one is file management and web page, which will be done in another video. You can find the link in the description once it's uploaded. Thank you for now.